Welcome back to the second episode. I'm your host PK and Jim, and we're back again.
We were supposed to have, our name. We had it for all last week. We've been trying to figure out our name. So we're still working on that, but it's our Jim and PK's podcast for now, or PK and Jim's podcast for now.
We're just switching up the name. It's a work in progress. We're
trying to think of a name. We've got,
And the logo and everything. So it's taking time, but we got,
But we're getting content out, so that's what's the main
exactly
important right now.
So, what about you? What's been new? What have you been watching?
The past week, just been, absorbing a lot of content, as in I've been telling you about WWE Network.
Yeah.
I've been doing that. At the same time, I've been watching movies on Disney Plus.
Oh, nice. I love Disney Plus, man. There's so many movies that I didn't think that were actually Disney.
Yeah.
But then when you actually like searching, flicking through like the channels and everything, it's like, oh, this is Disney? What?
Yeah.
I never knew that.
Yeah.
One
of them was Remember the Titans.
Oh, that's a classic movie.
Right?
That was Denzel.
And it's crazy. I put Disney Plus on, and I think it's my favorite Denzel movie of all time. And what's crazy is I didn't know it was Disney, and last week we did our top 3 Disney movies.
Yeah.
And we got to wipe that out. I'm just going to go chuck in Remember the Titans in my top 3. So I'm going to have Lion King at 1. I'm going to have Finding Nemo at 2, Remember the Titans at 3. And we'll just keep it at that, and I won't change it after.
Okay. You know what though? I think it's because Remember the Titans, it's Disney. It definitely is Disney, but it doesn't feel like a Disney film.
No. Oh, yeah. I get what you mean. But then if you really think about it, now knowing that it is a Disney movie, the music when it comes in, listen to it next time. You'll listen and you'll be like, oh yeah, I get it. It's a Disney movie. Like when the main scenes, when they're at Gettysburg.
Yeah, I got you. Yeah,
the music comes in. You're like, and Denzel makes it, and he starts talking. It's definitely a Disney movie. That's
Denzel in his prime as well.
It's crazy that I don't know if you were the same. Have you watched it recently?
Yeah. I watched it just a couple days ago, just because it was like I was flicking through it. Like, I love it because it's just one, it relates to the times now, but also not even just that.
That's so crazy.
Even just like the tone of it. Like, do you remember the start of it? Do you remember the start of the movie that?
I know what you're gonna say.
So they were protesting.
That's what I was gonna say.
But the even like the messed up part is. Oh, sorry. Definitely the messed up part is that's so. The start of the film, they protest because a store clerk shot a kid, like a black kid, pretty much just for being in the store, and he just looked suspicious or whatever, like and. With the reason why they're protesting in the film, you see the store clerk back in his store. So he didn't get locked up or anything. The police were just like, stay in the store, it's fine. And they're trying to like hold back the black protesters. It's funny how that relates now, and that's just that's like the first 30 seconds of the film. Like after the first intro, like when they first intro, that's the first 30 seconds of the film.
Yeah, Yeah, I know. I'm sure you didn't mean to say that it was funny, but it is crazy it is crazy that you could literally be watching that first scene that you were saying. I remember watching it and I go, all right, this is a movie made into, you Google it. Remember the Titans made a movie it was made in the 2000s. Yeah, but it was
based in like 1971.
Based in the 1970s.
Yeah.
And today's 2020. You could, and it's crazy, and it shouldn't be the way it is in this world, but it is because of so many different factors. But it's crazy that you could be watching that movie, you could switch that movie off, and just turn the news on, and the exact same thing is happening tenfold around the world on the news.
You see, there's one scene, we're kind of skipping a little bit with the movie, but when Wood Harris, like, who's friends with the captain, right? He was waiting for the captain at his place, and Wood Harris is just waiting for him, just waiting on the street, just waiting for his friend. They're about to play ball, and a cop car comes past. And you just see Wood Harris just all nervous and looking at him, and he just like head down, like, hello officer, hello sir, and he would just, because they've been through this, and like. that relates to now. Like that's 40 years apart, but that's
50.
Exactly. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's still it's still relevant
Still
to today.
relevant.
And
And
like,
it's been the same way in America. Yeah, it's funny because it's no, not funny, but it's like we live in Australia. I personally, as a Filipino, haven't experienced that type of racism, but Australia has its own background of racism
Yeah.
at the same time. But yeah, what you were saying is that they're so used to it. Even today they talk about it on social media, and they talk about like how, you know, black kids will be on the streets and they're just scared. Or not, they're not scared, but they just know that police will harass them just because they're black.
yeah.
And that's still happening today. And it's just a movie 50 years ago, so much should have changed by then.
Mm. When you say like maybe not scared, I'm 100% sure there are some kids that are scared of like because they know even just that store clerk scene, like just going to a store and you could be shot just by leaving the store.
Yeah.
Just being eyed by the police there.
Yeah.
You know, it's
there was so many. I understand why. Well, if you really look into it a bit more, it's just crazy that. What my point was, there's so many factors as to why it's still happening today, and it's engulfed in the
history of America, pretty much.
Yeah, you know what? In the history, plus there won't be change until the president is like the worst when it comes to that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Like racism, he's the worst. So, and bigotry and ignorance. So of course it's not going to change. How are you going to change if the top is so bad?
Yeah, like it definitely does start from the top. Don't get me wrong. Like that police system has kind of always been ingrained like that. Not every single police officer is like that. I'm not saying every single police. I think it's the worst part about it is, especially with George Foreman, like after the death,
George Floyd.
George Floyd. I think the worst part about it was like, as how big as it was, it got worse from the police side. Like when the protests started happening, even people just peacefully protesting, like
they were getting pumped.
Yeah, they were getting pushed over just by holding a sign up and eyeing a cop,
getting shot by rubber bullets.
Exactly,
and it was like, I remember that New York police officer came out, and he not police officer,
the press conference in the press.
Like, how are you treating us like we're the thugs
and animals?
It's the animals, but like. There's evidence of you guys still doing that shit.
That's how they're treating the like black people though.
Yeah,
that's
been doing it for how long? No one. You can't blame them for the way they've reacted. It's just a whole. It's not just George Floyd. That's the thing. There's been so many the past few years, and it's still ongoing. That they've just gone like, fuck it. It's a revolt. Like, we're fucking tired of this shit. And what's good? People like you and I, and people, white people, and you can see it's a younger generation that have really supported their black friends and family, because you need other people to join in. You can't be silent with these things, because.
How will people learn?
Yeah, and you need everyone, because if a black friend of yours is getting vilified and discriminated against, I'm gonna stand for that. Like, I'm going to ride for you always, like, because that could happen to me too.
And one of the things I did, like once when I heard about the George Floyd thing, one of the things I did, I pretty much don't get me wrong, I don't have that many black friends. Especially in America, I probably only have a handful. Yeah. The first thing I did was just message them and just, hey, I hope you and your family is good.
Yeah, for sure.
Like one of my close mates who he lived here for like a year, Roderick. He lives in Texas, and that's like it. That's all where it was happening. Yeah. And like he's like, no, it's like, thanks for the shout. Like, look out. But I'll be upfront with you, man. This is a regular thing. Like, don't get me wrong. I love that. I love Australia. I love worldwide. Everyone's looking out for us, and that's a fucking good look for us. But when you're actually in America, it's like a regular thing if you're a black person.
Oh yeah, of course. That's why there needs to be change within the system, and for that change to happen, things like this need to happen, because. with all these protests, I'm sure they're losing a whole bunch of money in the economy in America. And that's the only way you can really get people to change in America is if you attack their money.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, like, so on the flip side, with where people are saying, "Oh, this is not the way to protest" and everything, like
you don't.
Yeah, you like this is the only way. This is the only way you're looking at it now. You're paying attention to this now because you're paying attention to this now because of these protests and some of the riots too.
And I think
you know, don't get me wrong. There's levels of it, but like, if they've had enough, the glass is full now. There's what else? Where there's nowhere to go now.
It's I think we're like 2 weeks in, and it's still happening in cities around America.
Yeah, that's scary, man. But you know, people are looking in. I think, like, you know, I'm hoping there will be a change from this.
Oh yeah,
like I'm hoping there will be. It's
you feel it does feel a bit different because everyone's kind of riding with. I've never. There's no way that you couldn't ride for, you know, we listen to hip hop and R&B music, which is black culture.
Yeah.
We listen to, so that, dance, the NBA, I'm a big NBA fan, all those kind of sports. There's no way you can be a fan of these boys, Kobe, LeBron and everything, and then you can't ride for them when shit's happening to the people.
Yeah, 100%. Like, you wouldn't, like, to be honest, like, just knowing you with the type of music you're into, NBA, there'd be no gem if, like, because of that black culture. No. Like, that's like the type of person you are now. It'd be a different person.
A whole different person. So, for sure. And I don't like when people are trying to. Oh, why would you just stand up for like?
you don't need to say that. Like,
yeah, you don't.
No, you do. You do.
I've seen some posts. Yeah, and I've seen some posts of like, oh, there's so many other atrocities happening in the world. Why are you just jumping on the bandwagon? Well, you know what? The people that are voicing their opinion on these things, they are high profile, influential people that we follow all the time, and all the things that we follow, as in basketball, like I said, sports, music, lifestyle, culture,
dancing,
they're asking, like, help us out.
Yeah,
of course we're gonna be like, oh yeah, we got you guys, because you guys, we look up to you guys in a way. At the same time. So of course, like Charlemagne the God, he's just he's supposed to be just a radio presenter. But do you see him? He's on CNN. They look. He's on CNN. He's on all these talk shows because they want to. He's like, he can really articulate himself well.
Yeah, he's amazing.
And he can articulate himself well. A lot of black people in America are thinking about these things. They're like, oh, this is what we're upset about. I can't this, you know. But Charlemagne the God's the guy that. He knows how they feel. Yeah, he's the one. He's the voice for them, right? Yeah. So I watch him as well.
Or even like when you look at T.I., like how he's leading the charge as well. He's always been like one of the upfront black people about that culture, though.
Yeah, one of the leaders,
definitely. And I don't know, what I love, I think, more just you see so many like black celebrities standing up for that, because they've obviously been in those shoes before, and even just. Especially the people who are non-colored as well, who are standing up for that now.
Yeah, because especially in Australia, and I'm sure in the US, except for some parts of the US, we grew up with other Asians, with Samoans, Tongans, Lebanese, Aboriginals, white. We grew up with everyone, so
multicultural here.
Multicultural in LA and New York. They are friends with a lot of black people. Of course, they see someone like their black friend getting done like that. Yeah, of course, bro. 8 minutes and 46 seconds, knee to neck. It's hard to watch. Of course, that's what got everyone, because. You literally watch this video. It's graphic. It's live in 2020 through social media, and you watch a man die. You know what's fucked? I think it's not even just the man that killed him. It's the police officers that were just standing there. I don't know, because he's one of us. He's Asian. Like Asian, yeah. But just standing there. He's hands behind the back, just looking. He's a dog. He was there standing. And he knew it was wrong. You could see it in his face at points. He's like, he wants to do. He's telling people, step away. People calling him bum, and they're like, are you gonna just let your boys do that? And he's just like, you could tell he wanted to do something, but in the back of his head, police officer, the system, or how the culture is for them. Brainwashed them. Yeah. The culture for them is, all right, cool. I don't want to go and jump in and tell the boys like chill, like we got him, we'll put him in the car.
Yeah.
Because he knows when he gets back to the office or whatever, where the precinct, I don't know how it works, but he knows he'll go back and he will get fucking put on. Like the boys will be like, "You're a dog to our who are you with? You with us? You with them?" I'm sure I respect my uncle, my cousin, a few of my friends are police officers. I respect their work. I respect what they have to go through because like. If you really think of a police officer's day to day,
no. I said so. I have a couple of friends that either in training to be police or they want to be police officers, and I said this to them. I'm like, I definitely believe you definitely have to have a strong soul for it because you know the reason why
it changes you.
Yeah, because
day to day.
Because there's so much stuff that even though you like, there's definitely
some goods.
There's some goods that just want to do the right thing, but then there's other people that are just like, you know what. I'm sick of people like saying shit to me. I don't want that power just to abuse it.
Yeah,
and
it changes you. Could you imagine every day? This is your day to day. So you rock up, car accident, whatever happened to the bodies. Rock up, rape. Sorry to get dark, but it's true.
Yeah.
This is the nature of their work. Rape, domestic violence, harassment, murders, every single day. Like. This, that.
And not even just that, but even throughout it, even if you are the small group that are trying to, that group that wants to do with the right thing, at the same time, you're still getting called a pig. So that's why I'm saying you need to have a strong soul for it because it's not just, oh, I want to do the right thing. I'm here to protect people. Even when you're trying to protect people, like, you're a pig. You're a pig. It's only so much like for the people that were trying to do the right thing. Sometimes you start out good, but then you hear that and then it just flips you.
Yeah, for sure. You would the little interactions you have with the day-to-day people.
But that's why I say you need a strong soul. Otherwise, you turn into people like the Asian guy that was protecting it. Just like you know what? I'm just listening. It doesn't matter.
For sure. Yeah, it is hard. All right, we got carried away there with all that, but yeah, it's crazy. Back to Remember the Titans. Oh my gosh, that does relate, and it needs to be spoken on how, But what I like, let's go with the good takeaways from Remember the Titan. We had like Jerry Bertie, the main captain. At the start, he goes up to Coach Boone and he's saying, this is my team. You assemble. We got the offensive or defensive, whatever.
Yeah.
And he tried to be the alpha, and then Coach Boone comes in. Who do you think you are?
Yeah, just like hello Jerry. Like this must be Dean, and you know who your daddy is. And I was just like, oof. And then like head down, just like, I'm my daddy. I love that scene. What was your favorite scene in the movie?
I enjoy when they finally all start connecting and. Ain't No Mountain High Enough starts playing in the locker room. Yeah. And he kisses Jerry, and it's you see the black boys standing up for the white boys standing up for the blacks, and then you can see the demise of the same people that doesn't change their mind. They put them and isolate them in this one place where the world is away from them. That's what essentially so it is. Do you get what I mean? Yeah. Like, so they take these guys, go to camp, and the world. That their environment around them changes. Yeah. And whatever the voices they hear in their head, the parents telling them like the black boys, they're aggressive, they're this, they're that. Yeah. Or same with the black people with white growing up, white people don't trust them, they hate us, blah blah blah. So you don't have your parents or your family and their voices behind you. You go in an environment, you got to learn. You bunk with a black guy. You bunk with a white guy, and then you got to learn about his family, his culture, his values. But you really see the good in people. Yeah. When you spend time like that and away from the world and other people's opinions, and you could see the difference in how I loved going from the bus ride back. Yeah. They're all there. They're singing. They're yelling. They're chanting.
It's a unit. Yeah.
They're united after the 1 week, 2 week camp. They come back. Black side, white side,
and these guys are just in the middle. And these guys are pretty much just walking in the middle, just like, like, why can't it be just like us? We're definitely not in that camping ground no more.
Yeah. And then it was the same thing. The next day they go to school. Yeah, you just see the difference, and it's just the world. And it's true, the world does impact the way you see things and your opinions and your values. But you got to work it out yourself.
Yeah, but you know what? I think that's what the world kind of needs. Like, so the reason why they bonded, like even though black sides hated the whites, like for like is in the at the start of the training, like there's obviously like they had their reasons, but they needed to be together to like actually bond and like, oh, okay, this person's on both sides, whites and blacks. Okay, this person's not as bad. It's because you have to have different cultures around you to accept it with certain people. And like with us, we're surrounded by so many different nationalities where, oh, you know, like it's never weird when another nationality walks inside the room because it's like, okay, we're used to it and everything. But I think on their side, especially when the older parents, it's like, no, stay away from this, like especially the whites when they're like, stay away from the blacks. That's why when they grew up, they had that mentality.
That's true, because growing up, I had people around me, and they had their things from when they were older, when they were growing up, like, oh, this race or this religion, you know. But then I grew up, and I'm just friends with everyone.
Yeah, exactly.
So it's you can't really listen to old things. You got to work it out yourself, and you got to meet these people. And
you know something I noticed from the film? Sorry, I just want to put this out there. It's a star cast. You have Denzel Washington.
That's what I was telling
Ryan Gosling.
That's what I was saying. This is like the start for a whole bunch of them.
Yeah, Wood Harris, who's pretty much he's been in so many films and TV shows.
I'm trying to think. Hayden Panettiere.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. She was small. I didn't know that was her. I didn't know that was her back then. I loved her character, by the way, because you know how I looked at it. She was just there for as a child. She was just like, she was just invested in the game. She didn't care about
anything.
About like.
But then you could see that because of how the environment around her at the start.
Oh yeah.
It was like it was like she didn't know how to
react,
respond, or communicate when the other when black people came into their school. But she's a young soul, and you see that. But she just loves what she. That's the thing about kids; they don't really know the world. You see that they only know what they love, like their curiosities and their passions as a young kid, and that's how we all started. We had all these passions and curiosities, and as you grow older, sometimes you stray away from them, and other people's opinions and views and people around you change the way you.
Like when you were younger, myself, I never looked at nationalities when you're younger, as in like when you're a kid, because when you're in primary school, you don't notice anything. But then when you later on when you hit high school, oh, what nationality are you? Because that's a normal thing to ask. But when you're a kid, I don't know about you, I've never asked that question. Never once have I asked like, what nationality are you?
You don't. You're 100% right.
You don't take notice of it, I guess?
I don't take notice of it. In Australia, everyone's speaking English. When someone doesn't speak English, that's when you think, okay, he's not from here. Yeah. That's the only time. And then you get older and older, and then you hear people from an older, maybe someone's older brother or older sister has told him what a wog is, or what a philo or a chink or all those remarks are. That's when, as a kid, someone will start saying it. Yeah. And then that's when it kind of, okay, there's a difference between us. Yeah. But yeah, as a kid, I grew up with so many. One of my best mates growing up, Andre, he's Chilean. Yeah. So I tell people I'm half Chileno. I'm half Chileno, I'm half Filo. Like I say that, and his parents, I kind of was growing up in their household in the neighborhood, and I never saw. I just thought it was normal for me, like the different culture and different food. I thought it was it was just normal to me. It wasn't we're different. We should never interact with each other or anything like that. So it's sad seeing what's happening in America, but that might change in the next 50 years. Maybe there will always be racists out there because of the people above them, like we've been talking about.
But it starts with now, because when we go you first. Actually,
no. I just want to get this one point across. If you think about it. I don't know what the ruling is. They still had the civil rights movement in the 60s or so, or that Jim Crow that got abolished in the 60s. This is like white Australian policy here, where it's they wouldn't let people into Australia. But then over there in America, it was like if you walk to, you see it in Remember the Titans as well.
Oh, the bar.
The boys try and go in the bar, and then the white bartender or the owner is like, I don't want you in my facility. I don't want you in my establishment. I have the right to refuse you entry. you can leave, and they got upset about it. You know, they were like,
you know what? You know what's messed up? It was that's like before they went there. So Sunshine was the one who wanted to go into the bar, right?
yeah,
And the guy from Scrubs, Donald. Yeah, I forgot his last name. Yeah, Donald from Scrubs. Amazing actor, by the way.
Yeah.
Hilarious in that movie.
Yeah.
You know, he was like, nah, man. Like they were more casual, but like, nah, like let's just keep on moving. And Sunshine's like, no, what are you talking about? Let's go in there. He's just like, nah, you don't know how this works. Like you need to, because you're from Cali.
Hey, if you think about that's his white privilege.
Exactly.
Like,
no, it is.
Because he never thinks of, I can walk in anywhere. I can go anywhere. I can do what I want.
I won't get looked at.
I won't get looked at. I won't be judged.
Yeah.
But the black boys been growing up. They know, bro. They know.
They know the system.
Yeah, they know their parents have gone through it. And it's just, yeah. What I was gonna say was, if you think about that Jim Crow in the 60s probably got abolished just then. So people are still like my parents were born in the 60s, right? So that's 55-ish to 60 years away. People back then were a part of that where it was like divided and there was big racist groups, KKK, but it takes years, it will take generations, 100, 200 years for that to go away, because now we're all like we're all together. We're all, as in black people and white people, that law's not here anymore. But those hard racists that put it down onto their kids, and then put it down onto more kids, they're still around. We're still around. Yeah. And there's a whole bunch of us that have just been interacting with each other, fucking with each other for how many years. They're the ones on the streets. If you think about it, they're the ones on the streets because they got black friends that they're standing up for.
Yeah, exactly.
Just the way some of their friends go to pride parades because they're standing up for their gay friends. Yeah. So until so those old people that have that mentality of being racist are gone from this world. Good on, like, you're racist anyway, whatever, go. And it goes with all cultures. They go, and then their generation's still alive, the kids. They probably dropped it to their kids. But then it just fades away. Yeah. It'll fade away. I'm thinking that's what's going to happen. But we're only 50, 60 years in. So people are still alive from that time. Yeah,
100%. Look at when you look at like some Aussie friends that I have now, it's like probably their granddad and everything was probably like racist and stuff. But then but obviously their grandkids, who are my friends, they're 100% not racist.
They raised differently.
Because they have so many friends.
It's culture friends.
Yeah, it's hard.
They were but their grandparents only
interacted with white people.
That's it.
They didn't have nothing else.
That's it. That's what they knew. And then when immigration started coming in after white Australia policy here in Australia, and they started seeing different people, they were the majority. Yeah. They were the majority. They were able to like pick on this, pick on that. Yeah. When minorities came in. But the thing is, like, if you live in Sydney and Melbourne, if you think about it, if you live in Sydney and Melbourne, as you go around, it is so it's diverse. Yeah, it is diverse. You can go to you can go to Vietnam if you drive down one way. You can go to the Philippines if you drive down another. You can go to you know what I mean? Like you can go to Korea if you want to drive another town. And China, you can go down any path. Lebanon, everywhere.
Samoa,
in Sydney. Tonga. You can go anywhere. But that's what I'm saying. Like I don't think we're the minority anymore. Everyone's different. Australia is a full-on multicultural country. The racism will always be there because of the past, and it's engraved in Australian history as well. But hopefully you can see our generation's a whole lot different. We fuck with each other. Yeah,
I like that, man. That was good.
Yeah.
Wow. But wow. So just funny how like a movie can relate to so much.
That's what movies are, you know, the of the times, creating stories to inspire. But there's no point trying to watch stuff from the past or trying to learn off the past. You know how they say learn off the past so that we can build a better future in that? Yeah, okay. We've been trying to learn from the past, but the past never worked. You just do it now, do it now.
Yeah, exactly. It's changed now.
Yeah, just change it now. Yeah.
Yeah. With the Remember the Titans though, even with the black history involved in that movie, even like Sunshine's gay in the movie.
Yeah.
I think I think I just noticed that now.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah,
before
yeah,
I thought
yeah. I thought it was just Jane up.
Yeah, before I never actually I missed it, but then when I was watching it, I was like, this movie is so empowering to a lot of people, not even just to the black community, or like what's happening now, just even just gay community as well.
It's a great movie in every way.
And
If you, I don't know if you know much about Drew Brees or what's going on in America. He's from the NFL. He's the New Orleans Saints quarterback.
Okay.
The thing is, the reason why there's so much uproar is because he's very well respected in the New Orleans community. We've been in New Orleans. It's heavy. The community is very black out there, right?
yeah,
So his comments were something like, first off, this is like 1 week ago, with all the bullshit that's going on. His comments were, the thing is, my stance is still, it is disrespectful to kneel against a flag.
okay,
I don't know if you know the whole significance of Colin Kaepernick.
with
flag and
yeah,
everything,
yeah.
but the point is, he kneels for the police brutality. It's not because he's disrespecting
the flag,
America or the flag. It's and I know, and he said like a lot of people have died for the flag, all that. Yeah, we get that, but the reason why, I think some people just miss the whole point when you say things like that.
But that's the whole point of like when people make a stance with.
It's making a
like,
stance.
yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, look, so sometimes you have to be. You have
Outlandish.
to do, you have to do something outlandish, something that like to get people's attentions. I don't, and this sounds bad, but I don't know if anyone else would pay attention, like if a celebrity can do something like that. It took Colin to do that where people are paying attention now.
Yeah, and he's out of a job, and he's been saying it for years. Anyways, so Drew Brees did that. He said that, and the uproar was crazy, especially with the times going now. Yeah. But he didn't backtrack. He backtracked it, but you could tell he's got a good heart. Like he goes, I didn't mean to be insensitive, and he's been going back at Donald Trump. He's been reaching out to leaders in the community like Shannon Sharp, in the black community, Shannon Sharp. But it was his moment to be Jerry Bertie from Remember the Titans. It was his moment to unite everyone, because everyone respect him. I'm sure so much has happened in New Orleans, like Hurricane Katrina, what's going on with coronavirus. Now he's donated his own money to help other people in the community. So he's well respected in that community. That's why there's such an uproar at what he said, because they respect him so much. They look up to him. He's supposed to be the guy to bring it all together, and he went the other way. I'm sure a lot of
he fumbled the
people
ball.
that are listening to this, he fumbled. That's exactly right. I'm sure a lot of the people that will listen to this, and they'll agree, people from the black community, they'll say, we're so upset and disappointed because Drew Brees is supposed to be the guy. Like we look up to him. It's not like he's one of the white guys that will say something and you'll be like, oh yeah, I expected it from this guy. Like, all right, yeah, we expected that from you, but we don't expect that from you. They didn't expect that from Drew Brees, so that's why everyone's so upset about it. But he had his Jerry Bertie. He has his Jerry Bertie moment right now where he can, because Jerry Bertie at the start of Remember the Titans, you could tell that he didn't want to be a part with the black, with the black side of the team.
Yeah, no, he hated them.
He hated them. After the thing, he outdid his wrong, and he became best friends with Woody Harrelson's character, and brought the team. Got his mom to his mom didn't want to meet him.
It's Wood Harris, by the way.
Wood Harris, Harris, and got his mom to meet. You can tell his mom didn't want to, but then you could
but she embraced him at the end. Like, I love that.
They sang Amazing Grace at the end at his funeral. Yeah. So Drew Brees, it's time for your moment. It's time for. I'm sure I'm sure Drew Brees is doing what he's not just backtracking just to save face or PR stunt, but he can go back, and
I think it takes a conversation though for that. Like, I mean, to withdraw, not saying withdraw his comments, but to change that mind, you need to have that conversation. Like, I forgot that blonde girl's name, but Trevor Noah.
Yeah.
Comedian.
Yeah,
he's on the talk show. So he was talking to a massive Trump supporter. Now she's against Black Lives Matter and everything.
Is she black?
No, she's white.
Oh.
But I know who the black person he's talking. But yeah, Trev and But even when T.I. and Charlamagne the God, they interviewed that black girl as well. But the reason why they did that was so just for that conversation, because you need that conversation to change someone's mind. Like not a yelling match or anything, literally just talking. It does take obviously that aggression to sometimes change somebody's mind, but with people who are outspoken and who are leaders in the black community, like Charlamagne the God and T.I., that's how they swayed that black lady. And she's still a Trump supporter, but the conversation was there because they all know each other's points and sides.
Yeah, for sure. Sometimes you just got to sit, have that conversation. Yeah. Sometimes you got to sit and have a conversation with your own friends. It might be back and forth, but you just got to have that conversation for sure.
What else have you been watching? Oh, actually, no. Well, you know what? I watched. I'm only on the halfway through the second episode. It's on Netflix. The Jeffrey.
Oh yes.
Epstein.
Yes, I've been watching Jeffrey Epstein. You watched it as well. I think I told you about it.
You're the one who told me. You're the one who got me onto it. But you said you've seen the Discovery. You've seen the Netflix as well.
Yeah. So I first watched the Netflix one.
Yeah.
And then I watched our Investigation Discoveries one just the other day, and you could see the differences.
So you've seen it. So you've seen both of them.
Seen both of them. Yeah.
Which one? How do you think of the document? How do you think they both? How did you like their takes?
First of all, what do you think of the first one? I want to go. What do you think of Netflix's one?
I felt like it was definitely more focused. So I know somewhat about the story, but I felt like it was definitely more focused on the pedophile stuff. Yep. A little bit hard to digest because of that.
Very hard to digest every single.
It's. I mean, like, yes, I get it. It's like documentaries do that though, and I get the content. That's why we're watching it. Yeah. But it felt like it was heavily focused on that. Some of it felt a little bit more forced, like with one of the, I don't know, like with like how some of the girls were kind of like what they were talking about, and I'm like, okay, but I didn't really get much of the murder stuff. But I guess I'm only on like halfway through the second episode.
Murder.
Right. As in on the Jeffrey the Netflix.
Wait, who got murdered?
Not murders. Sorry, the rapes. The rapes, and like they didn't really go into everything else later on. They probably do go through it later on.
Oh, and how he died. What episode you watched?
I'm only through.
Oh, the murder of Epstein.
Yeah.
I thought you meant like the girls. I don't think.
No, none of them got murdered. They didn't get murdered.
It was all heavy trafficking, heavy underage.
Only one thing annoyed me, and like I know this is gonna sound bad.
No.
All right, so there was there are a lot of young girls, but there's also girls who are like 17. And I remember there was one of the things that she said, and it just threw me off of it was, like the Eva girl, the Epstein Jeffrey's wife, asked her, "Oh, you just gotta rub this guy's feet," and she's like, "Okay." Yeah. I feel like 17 is old enough to be like, no.
Yeah, for sure. I get your point. At 17, 18, 19.
I mean, you kind of know 16, better than that,
even 16. Yeah, you'd know, like our sisters are around that age. I'm pretty sure my sister would be in but then at the same time, they're in a place, in this wealthy, big house, with these adults, grown adults that should know better. So at first, they're the ones, right?
And don't get me wrong, I don't condone that. Like, super kick Jeffrey to the grave.
Of course.
100%.
Of course, for sure. I get what you mean. I also think I agree with you 100%. Like, they should. No. Okay, I don't want to say they should know better. But like at that age, you do know. But then you don't know the situation that they're in when they're there, because you never know what they're thinking. Like, all right, this guy is the wife just said go massage his feet. Okay, massage his feet as in like I'll just massage him. Okay, cool. Maybe they're thinking, all right, I'm gonna get the money. You never know because of the situation. At the same time, how do I get out of here?
Yeah, I get that. That's true.
What do okay, I'm going to do this. And then I say I don't want to do it. What happens to me now? This guy's so wealthy. Look how big this house is. What's going to happen to me?
But it's not even just that. Like that girl, there was another girl. So she was in a school in a safe zone, right? Yeah. And one of her friends asked, "Hey, do you want to massage older men? You get $200." And by the way, this isn't poverty because they live in Palm Beach.
You know, they're on the other side.
Oh,
So
okay.
I don't know if you've watched in the next episode or the episodes after. So they live in that Palm Beach in Florida, and it's all this wealthy, big mansions, this, that. And they go, all right, you cross the bridge into Palm Springs, the other side, and it's rough.
Oh, okay, got you.
And it looks rough.
Yeah.
And
I guess
they kind of picked them all. They kind of looked for vulnerable girls in poverty, out of home.
Yeah. Okay.
That's what they do. They pick on the vulnerable.
Okay. So what do you liked about the Netflix, and what did you like about Discovery?
What I didn't like, to answer your question, what I liked, I don't know. Well, let me say what I didn't like was in Netflix's one, they really try and portray Jeffrey Epstein as the only one that's involved in all of this. Obviously, it's Jeffrey Epstein. It's his docu-series thing. But man, you can tell there's a whole lot of people that are involved in big positions, big power, even to today, that are involved. But they really try to just put it on this guy. But you never know. Jeffrey Epstein might just be the one that soliciting all of it, but he's not. He probably is. I don't know. We don't know. He took it to the grave. But there's a whole lot of other people, and they don't go into that. They just go into he's the main guy. He did everything. But there's other people.
Yeah.
Discovery's one, I enjoyed Discovery's one more, only because they took all sides, and it was more who killed Jeffrey Epstein. So they were like, oh, it's tough to say that. Oh no, they say there's like a camera. The cameras were switched off at the time. There was less guards. But the thing is, if you think about it, PK, this jail in the middle of Manhattan, you've been there, I've been there.
Yeah.
They take the top of the top kind of criminals in there. El Chapo is currently in there. El Chapo.
Yeah.
Mexican drug lord. Cartel drug lord. He's there because they took him out of Mexico. He was the world's most wanted man. Think of this. They took him out of Mexico because they said, we'll bring him in America, extradite him, and we'll be able to keep an eye on him, and he can't escape like he did in Mexico because there's no corruption, no nothing. He can't escape here in America. So what happened to Jeffrey Epstein?
Yeah.
If it's that secure, if you've got eyes on him, it's one of the most, the jails is one of the most secure, not secure, but like, I don't
know if any jail's really that secure, to be honest.
You get what I mean? But you can keep an eye on like all the high profile, everything. It's fitted for that.
Especially because El Chapo got out twice.
El Chapo, he's there now, and Jeffrey Epstein was able to commit suicide with like 10 bed sheets. Why you got 10 bed sheets in your bed? Yeah. And they show when you go watch Investigation Discovery's one, you'll see that they'll show the forensic investigation. The way he got killed, it's not a way of someone through strangulation of committing suicide. It's the way of someone has tied something around his thing, and someone's just pulled and yanked and broken his neck bone at the back here. And the guy who did George Floyd, is like a reporter, investigative reporter, and said George Floyd was definitely murdered because he couldn't breathe. Yeah. He did the same one, but for Epstein, and he goes, this isn't the same kind of evidence as someone that would have committed suicide. It's someone that has killed them. It's someone that has just yanked his neck and broken his neck, and he died that way. So
okay, it makes me want to watch it, but I think it makes me want to watch the Discovery version more. Like this one was kind of hard to digest a lot with the Netflix special, but
Discovery's special did do really well here in Australia though, with the new channel Investigation Discovery. That special did really well. I don't know what it is with it's very heavy female skewed. Yeah. Everyone just goes towards those kind of big investigations and that.
Okay, no, I'll definitely check that.
Have a look. Foxtel.
Yeah, I like the plug just then. I like the plug.
My work of. But yeah,
so that
we can we'll wrap.
Yeah, we'll wrap it up now.
Second up. Yes. We've been talking for a while. That was good. I enjoyed every.
I liked your take on a lot of things with that, man.
Yeah, I enjoyed. It's crazy how so much relates to the world.
Yeah, no,
Right
it's. I love this talk, bro, and it's funny how it just started from Remember the Titans.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, this was supposed to be just like a movie review, but then it just kind of just built up to something else.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
I like that though, and you know what? These type of conversations, it's needed. You know, and I like your mindset with that.
Hopefully, hopefully things get better out here. Yeah, people really inspire other people to do better in this world. That's all it is. I think that's people can change. Just because you were born into a racist family doesn't mean you got to stay that way, or just because your family's that way. And
you can grow. You can definitely grow.
You know what I mean? Like,
doesn't matter what you've been told in the past. People can change at any moment.
100%. And don't be afraid to step away from that
darkness,
dark environment.
I like that.
That's
Well,
cool.
episode 2. The name will be coming out soon.
Yeah, we're gonna come up with that name next.
We got that soon. We got that. I like that, bro.